Welcome back to On Points Recap Edition. Ed DeRosa alongside special guest Scott Shapiro. And Scott, after being wowed by Improbable in his last two starts, kind of underwhelmed by our last 4 points races.
Yeah, definitely. Looking back before the new year, nothing too impressive. And then a little disappointing if we were looking for Derby prospects last weekend, both in Florida and California.
Yeah, agreed. We'll start with the Sham because it had among the hotter Derby prospects in Bob Baffert's Coliseum. And some excuses, some trouble, but overall it was an egg for me, and I dropped him from my top 10.
Yeah, I dropped him as well. I had him in my top 5, I believe, going into it. But when you have mental deficiencies like it seems like he has, being the son of Tapit, Baffert's even spoken to him, it's hard to get excited about a horse like that being able to deal with what he'll face here in Louisville the first Saturday of May if he does make it.
Yeah, agreed. Certainly, he'll probably be overbet next time too, and we kind of saw it with Empire Maker. Back in the day, he was favored, I think, in the Remsen, in the Sham as well, and lost both those, and finally started putting it together for another Hall of Fame trainer in Bobby Frankel. So maybe Coliseum follows that path, but overall looks like an underlay going forward in the immediate future. Mucho Macho Man, not a points race, but definitely had some well-met horses. I did put Winner Mios in my top 10, but almost by default, just to say, you won a race I thought looked pretty deep, but Code of Honor, maybe not as bad as Coliseum, but probably not what his backers wanted to see.
Yeah, the only thing you could make as an excuse for that horse is I thought he needed the race, where I didn't think that with Coliseum. But I had Code of Honor in my top 10 and was high on him in the Breeders' Cup, and didn't think he was a good wager on Saturday, but I thought he was very capable of winning the race and would have liked to have seen a lot more, so I dropped him out as well. Miros, to me, maybe more of a late running sprinter, but certainly has done some good stuff in his last 2 races at Gulfstream.
Yeah, so we'll see where he goes from here. And Trophy Chaser looks like just runs out of gas at the inopportune times. Unless you needed the winner, then that was opportune. But certainly an exciting speed horse, but probably not a Derby prospect, even as fast as he is.
Yeah, I agree. Really has not shown the ability to finish going shorter, so it's hard to imagine the mile and a quarter would be up his alley at this point.
All right, well, we have a couple 10 points races to round things out before we head into the 50-point camp, including the LeCompte at Fairgrounds and then the Smarty Jones at Oaklawn. So even though we've had already 2 points races this year, it sort of feels like with this week break and then shifting to Fairgrounds and Oaklawn, the big winter spring prep season is beginning in earnest.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I know James Scully will be there at LeCompte, and you will be there at the Smarty Jones. Absolutely. So we're starting to get our troops on the ground, so we're getting into the heart of the season here. And it looks like the LeCompte should be a pretty interesting race. And I don't know as much about the field of the Smarty Jones, but I'm sure it'll be some high caliber prospects in there as well.
Hopefully, and then that leads us into the Triple Crown noms and then the second Derby future wager. So picking up pretty quick. Any future wager ideas right now? I mean, not in like who you play today, but just horses you're kind of seeing what they do over the next month or so.
It's tough. I got in good with Improbable in the first pool. I feel pretty good about that. And King for a Day would be a horse that I got a little bit in on in the first pool that I'm interested in still getting in on. Maybe Standard Deviation's a horse I know that's been training in Florida. I haven't heard a lot of buzz, and I did like that horse last year moving forward, so maybe he would be a horse I can get a good price on.
All right, and I'm looking at California-bred Galilean for Hollendorfer, a trainer
you like him?
A trainer I go to the well too often, but not too often, hopefully, but I go to that well often. But the King Glorious win came back pretty fast, decent pedigree, so maybe an okay price with all the Bafferts and Browns and Pletchers out there.
Definitely, and speaking of Hollendorfer, Gunmetal Gray, not interested?
It came back so slow. I mean, it looked good as those closers usually do, but I just think between the horses he chased down backing up and the final speed figure, which I realize deep closers like that are at somewhat the mercy, but I need to see it again.
Did very little for me. They were staggering late. He took advantage, like you said. It's always going to look good when they come rolling, but I think it was as much the other horses stopping as him running fast.
Yeah, I'm definitely, and I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking, I mean, as much as Coliseum is going to get them all again and probably overbet next time, Gunmetal Gray likewise overbet.
I'm really looking forward to playing against Gunmetal Gray, but who knows? I mean, a lot of us probably feel the same way about that.
Hopefully that take won't be as bad as Pat Forty's Dabo Sweeney.
Ooh, D+.
It like I told you, if you're going to be wrong, be wrong.
And like I've said to a number of people about that, you know, you put enough hot takes out there, you're going to be wrong sometimes. So we all will be wrong soon and later, and he was wrong on that one.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate the conviction, as we have had here. Hopefully, some good insight for everyone, and we'll be back next week with a LeCompte pick.